mai kako. I want to say kako, what Uncle Saw said. That was so beautiful, Shaye. And I'm very excited to be able to host tonight's speaker series. But just brief, I'm Tate Keliho'omalu. I'm the coordinator with Maui Nui Makai Network. But just a brief overview, we are just a hui of 9 organizations across Maui Nui, one of them being Ka Honua Momona tonight, who will be speaking on our speaker series, which we are so excited to hear. And I will give it back to Uncle Sa to do a brief introduction, and then we will get started.
Okay, mahalo Tate, thank you very much. My name is Kolamuna Kaho'ohalahala. I am from the island of Lanai, and I'm currently the co-chair of Maui Nui Makai Network. And so I'm very honored today to introduce our speakers. I'd like to introduce, first of all, Tiani Kawa'auhau-Cook, Tiani is born on Moloka'i and raised in Moloka'i. She is the executive director for Ka Honua Momona, and her love for this ʻāina has brought her closer to her roots as a young wahine entrepreneur. And then I would also like to introduce Shaye Lauifi, who is currently the executive assistant. And Shaye also was born and raised on the island of Moloka'i and hails from the ahupuaʻa of Kaunakahakai. She recently joined the Ka Honua Momona ʻOhana in June of 2022 as the executive assistant under Tiani. Her love for the ʻāina culture and the Moloka'i community drives her to pursue the many restoration projects today and in the near future. She is privileged to work alongside with Kupuna and to kōkua and preserve the Hawaiian cultural practices, as well as give back to the community. So with that, I'd like to welcome you from Ka Honua Momona to our speaker series. Aloha kako.
So aloha mai kako and welcome. I'm Shaye Lauifi, as Uncle introduced. First off, I would like to mahalo Maui Nui Makai Network for spotlighting our organization, Ka Honua Momona, for this month's speaker series. Also mahalo to all who are joining us tonight. And I'll go over our quick overview. As Uncle Saul said, this is all of our speakers today, and we'll just be talking story about what we do. And yeah. So our first speaker is Kayla, and I will let her introduce herself.
Aloha, I'm Kayla, or Kuhikulani. I have been volunteering since I was 14 with Ka Honua Momona, and I just kept coming back ever since, and worked my way into interning for them for a while, and then became site maintenance and ʻāina intern. So I'm going to share a little about our mission and vision. Our mission is to be a model of sustainability from Moloka'i, or from the mountains to the sea. And in ancient times, one of Moloka'i's nicknames was Moloka'i ʻāina Momona, the abundant land. And the bounty from the land and sea sustained the populations of tens of thousands, earning Moloka'i its reputation for being the breadbasket of Hawaii. Moloka'i was historically a top food producer due to its many fish ponds and its peaks. And at its peak, 74 fish ponds were actively managed, producing an estimated 350 pounds annually per acre. Our name Ka Honua Momona means the fat earth due to the abundance what grows from Moloka'i's rich ʻāina and kai. We believe that Moloka'i can again return to abundance, and we accomplish our mission by developing indigenous education systems, by revitalizing natural and cultural resources, perpetuating traditional knowledge and stewardship, and evolving with modern technology, which we believe will result in a self-sufficient model for all nations. So a little bit about us. Ka Honua Momona is a 501c3 nonprofit. we're based on the island of Moloka'i, and we are governed by a board of directors and guided by our 5 kupuna that sit on our Kupuna Council. We envision our board members as the clouds that oversee the organization, and our Kupuna Council as the ocean that guides us as we holomua or move forward. KHM is currently being run only by 2 staff members, Tiani and Shaye, who host the school groups, take care of the ʻāina and kai, and also run the office. We also have our manager of operations, Sarah Ching, in our administrative department. Many volunteered hands from our community and outside of Moloka'i also help us care for the ʻāina and local i'a. So I'm now gonna introduce Izzy Reese.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Izzy Reese, and I volunteered at KHM during the summers of 2018 and 2019. I was recruited by one of the previous executive directors to come work for KHM while I was at getting my undergraduate degree, and I was super passionate about the environment and understanding, or I guess through my time on Moloka'i, understanding different perceptions of environmentalism and like climate change, specifically seen through the Hawaiian culture. And I was working at the fish pond and also with a couple kupuna on the island, most notably working with Uncle Bobby out on the ʻāina at his farm. And in my presentation, I'm going to be going through introducing our board of directors, the theory of change, and then with Kayla going through some of the principles that make up KHM and that theory of change, and introducing the kupuna that represent each. So starting off, we have 5 members of the board, all based in Hawaii. Brandon Choi as the acting president, Mahealani Richardson as our board secretary, Manuel Mejia as our treasurer, Te Marino Lanihan as our director in Indigenous Epistemology, and finally, none other than Uncle Mac, who is on the call. So, yeah. Next, we have our theory of change. So the theory of change at KHM is unique and special to our programs. It's represented by the process of sewing a Hawaiian throw net. And as people come to KHM and partake in the learnings, they experience some of the different core principles that we've laid out. And as they experience those, we see that people slowly acquire some of the wisdom and knowledge of our kupuna and the land and this culture. So as we grow and continue to learn that, we are continuing to connect different pieces of our aho, or the rope, to form and cast a wide net of knowledge. And so as one continues to learn and grow through each experience, they're just continually changed by this program. And we believe that it is an iterative process, and it's a safe space for learning and growing. And our theory of change is really represented by the 5 core principles of KHM. And I'm going to be going through each one of these. So the first one that I'm going to introduce is ho'ewe, which is essentially how we seek to know, see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and feel through a native Hawaiian epistemology, recognizing that this is the host culture of the place in which we live. This is extremely important to KHM as it always relates to our mission to continue to spread our own cultural rootedness. And this particular principle is represented by one of our faves, Uncle Bobby Alkane. ʻAina Man is his nickname, and it's very fitting for Uncle Bobby. He is a practitioner of the land and a teacher of many, all the way from our kupuna, or sorry, our keiki to our kupuna. And he currently is taking care of his farm, ʻAina Pula Pula, and is also the caretaker of Lani Kaula, and he has been for the past 17 years, which is a sacred kukui nut grove on the east end of the island. He is a teacher of La'au here and has been recognized with several awards by the community. And as quoted, being Hawaiian and living Pono on a daily basis, his qualifications are that he has accepted his kuleana. And so as he teaches and as he continues to share how we can connect to not only ourselves, but ourselves and the land, and kind of understanding our own kuleana for the land, living Pono, and really kind of seeking aloha as a final destination. Yeah, so Kayla's going to go through the next principle.
So next we have Kahuho'ilina. We seek to instill a reverence for the relationship between a land and its people by providing a powerful first connection between children and their environment, remembering to care for the earth before taking from it, and always returning places to better conditions than which we found them. And to represent that principle, we have Uncle Mervyn Duduwa. Uncle Mervyn Duduwa was born and raised on the island of Moloka'i. For over 50 years, he has been fishing the ocean and tidal flats around the island, handling all manner of boats, gear, and weather. He worked as a commercial diver for 18 years, and Uncle Merv's homestead land abuts a li'i fish pond. He is personally dedicated to restoring the fish pond single-handedly if he must, and he is equally dedicated to involving people from all walks of life in fish pond restoration and aquaculture skills, especially with the local Hawaiian youth. He has worked with hundreds of volunteers over the years and inspires virtually all of them to return. He was honored in April 2010 with a Mālama Ikekai, or Take Care of the Sea Award, recognized by a Maui-based marine restoration collective for his work with Ka Honua Momona and with Moloka'i's youth. He is also the Aha Kiole, or Hawaiian traditional leadership model, now recognized by the state of Hawaii. Elected moku, traditional Hawaiian boundary marker, representative for Kawela moku, known as the largest population moku on the island of Moloka'i.
Awesome. And the third principle is Kuka'i Kaha, which represents intergenerational exchange. And here at KHM, we seek to connect with each other and our community by engaging in intergenerational transfer of knowledge. And this is another important principle, and one that I definitely feel like I felt as soon as I engaged with KHM, as they're consistently bringing people from all walks of life and all ages to the pond to kind of share knowledge and exchange cross-generationally. And this is represented by another one of our faves, Auntie Vanny, our Limu goddess. Auntie Vanny was born and raised here on Moloka'i. She still lives here with her entire family and shares a breadth of knowledge and experience with the land, and especially with Limu, and creating not only the removal of Limu and invasive Limu from the pond, but also using this for food and kind of creating it in different ways. She's been involved in several local community efforts and Hawaiian agencies across the years, giving back to her island consistently. And her ambition and passion is to see younger people step up to the plate and learn to be Pono in whatever they do. Next, we have Ka'ime Ike, which means to us lifelong learning. We seek to enable youth to become leaders at our site and in our community by providing them with loving, positive role models, high expectations, and a safe place to fail and succeed, as well as several opportunities for growth. And this is represented by, again, I keep saying our favorites, but they're all amazing. Uncle Mac, and Uncle Mac is a native Hawaiian fisherman. He's a practitioner of the sea. He spent his life teaching and practicing traditional fishing and resource management here on Moloka'i. And he's been recognized for several awards throughout the years. Very impressive in that, including the Umu Kai Award. This was established in 2008 by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and recognizes Native Hawaiian practitioners' contributions to modern fishery and conservation. So, yes, and next we have our fifth and final principle, in which Kayla is going to introduce again. Yes.
Okay. So we have Mahua Ola. We seek to teach our families about cooking with foods that are seasonal, native to our environment, have cultural significance, and are part of a healthy diet. Through reestablishing the traditional model of health, physical activity, and lifestyle, our people of Moloka'i can begin to reclaim the robust health of our ancestors. And to represent Mahua Ola, we have Uncle Saunoa Liva. Uncle Saunoa is an incredibly knowledgeable and a resilient person. Uncle has taught us many things, and one of them, we were impressed to learn that drinking liquid ava or Hawaiian medicinal plant can cool down the body temperature when we're working in the hot sun, and the leaf can be used as a mosquito repellent. His ike is impeccable, but perhaps the most inspiring is his philosophy of happiness. Uncle has eliminated the word work from his vocabulary and instead uses phrases like financial hobbies. He finds that when you love what you do, all the rest will fall in line.
Hello, everyone, again. So, my name is Shaye Lauifi, and Uncle Saul pretty much introduced me already, so thank you for that. I just wanted to add that since high school, I always knew I wanted to go out and learn as much as I could and bring it back to the island. So yeah, working here at KHM kind of allows me to do that. It helps me practice my Hawaiian culture and work alongside our Kupuna as we gain ike and share with, as much people as we can so that our Hawaiian culture can continue to grow and thrive. So I will be talking about our local i'a that we caretake. The first one, I will be going over what it is first for those of you who don't know. Local i'a literally means fish inside, and they're a unique aquaculture system that exists through Hawaii and are used to attract, raise, and store herbivorous fish and algae for community sustenance. There are several types of local i'a, but ali'i and kaloko'eli are coastal local kuapa. A local kuapa has a solid wall of pohaku or rocks, with the makaha being the only opening. Our two local i'a are located in the moku of Pavela, the land district, in the Kamiloloa, Ahupuaʻa, and Makapukaʻia, Ahupuaʻa. They are both about 500 to 800 years old, and we currently hold the lease from DHHL for both ponds. Our vision is to restore them to a healthier status so that our community can utilize this resource again and continue traditional lawai'a practices in a pono way. So not only are we restoring the local i'a, but also restoring our way of life and growing our cultural identity as the next generation. So our first one is ali'i, but before I introduce it, I want to point out the makaha is right here in this middle area. That is how one of the openings look in the local i'a. It serves as an entrance and exit for marine life and pumps oxygen into the pond. And the fluctuation of the tides allow us to visually see the pond breathe as it inhales the kai and exhales the kai. I was able to see this with Uncle Mac just the other week, which is super cool. So thank you, Uncle Mac. So ali'i means chief. This lokoi'a is about 30 acres in size and now has 3 makaha. It is located in the ahupuaʻa of Moloka'i. And a little history is in 1957, the pond was filled with mud and overgrown with invasive mangrove. Today, this wahipana, or special place, houses our headquarters for Ka Honua Momona. And the organization was born here in 2001 and has worked hard with thousands of volunteers and leaders to restore this fish ponds. The first evidence of its healthy progress was first observed when the sand returned to its shoreline. And here we have the second lokoi'a is Moloka'i. It means the dug up pond. We still are looking for mo'olelo on why these names were named it. So yeah, we're being on the lookout for that. Same as ali'i, this lokokuapa is about 30 acres in size and also has 3 makaha. It is located a mile towards town from ali'i, and it sits in the ahupuaʻa of Kamiloloa. A little history is in the mid-1900s, about 600 feet of the wall had been washed away by the waves and tide, along the whole eastern wall, and the growth of the mangrove was unencumbered. Together, KHM workers, volunteers restore the wall and have removed so far over 10,000 square feet of invasive mangrove, and they also removed the alien algae known as gorilla ogo. We continue to maintain both ponds and run multiple conservation projects. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we are proud of the progress that we have made so far. We want to mahalo the Kupuna, Keiki, Opio, and volunteers that worked hard on this ʻāina and kai when they, in the past for both lokoi'a. When they say it takes a village, it really does. So we just wanted to shine some light on those who came before us, and mahalo all of you for your hard work. And now we have Zulian, another KHM volunteer, and she will be talking on our educational programs.
Hello, everybody. My name is Zulian Cruz Diaz. I was an intern, not anymore. I was a graduate intern when I finished school back in 2017, and I volunteered on Moloka'i for 8 months. I had the pleasure of being able to stay on Uncle Bobby Alkane's homestead, and then I'd make my way over to the fish pond every day for work. I will be talking about program sustainability that we run at KHM. So both Moloka'i and Ka Honua Momona are picos of learning. The spiritual foundation of the island itself sets the educational tone for producing the highest experts, both in the past and in the present, for experts in all aspects of life. Moloka'i today continues living aloha in the Hawaiian way. And so one of our whys as to why Ka Honua Momona is so amazing in all of its work is that it continues perpetuating the traditional knowledge systems, as well as remembering and treasuring our history, as well as evolving modern technologies in order to prepare our next generation, our keiki, for the future of Moloka'i. So as we've kind of stated throughout the presentation, the model for KHM is to be a model of sustainability from Mauka Amakai. And so some of the programming that we do related to education is Aloha ʻāina, where we learn about aipono, native plants, la'au. We make sure that we learn about kala and mahina, the sun and the moon. And we have an off-grid system that Austin is actually going to be talking about soon. We learn about the moon phases, where they affect the tides, when we're supposed to fish, when we're supposed to plant, and how it's all one ecosystem. The Loko'ia, we focus on mo'olelos, on the importance of the makahas and different parts that make the system work together. And a big part of it is removing the invasive species that we have going on. So we take out tons and tons, literal tons, of gorilla ogo out of the fish ponds each year. We remove mangrove, and we continue learning to repurpose these items in order to make sure that we are staying sustainable and we're not just throwing them in the trash. So Austin is next. He will be talking all about our systems at the fish pond.
Hey everyone, my name is Austin Kanoa Carpenter, and I was an intern at KHM in 2022. A little bit about my background. I have a maternal family from the island of Kauai, but I myself grew up on the mainland in Texas, actually. I'm a college student, and last year I ran into KHM as an opportunity and decided it would be a great time to learn more about Hawaiian culture and kind of reconnect with that part of me. And as an intern, I hope to contribute to KHM's Hawaiian Ethnobotany project, and I also served as technical support for some of KHM's facilities. And we're going to actually discuss some of those facilities on the next slide. So pictured here, you can see the office and the bathroom. These both were built in the same week in actually 2011, actually, and they were courtesy of a Maui-based nonprofit called Kaunakahakai. And they are on about an acre situated right there on the shoreline by Ali'i Fish Pond. And from the start, these facilities were engineered from the ground up to be sustainable. The picture on the top right is the bathroom. The bathroom is a completely 100% composting bathroom, and it only uses about 1/10 of the water used by like a normal residential system. And the most impressive sustainability feature, without a doubt, is the off-grid solar power system that was engineered by Moloka'i native Bruce Yamashita. And the 16-cell system powers both a water heater and the electricity. So it's any excess electricity generated from the sun is put in the water heater. So nothing goes to waste, and you can enjoy a cup of coffee or a hot shower should you want to. And compared to Moloka'i's standard utilities provider, Maui Electric Company, the power system is more cost-effective, more reliable, and more eco-friendly. Other facilities use wind power. You can see 3 turbines in here, one on top of this storage container and 2 in the back that are kind of hidden there by the trees. The other thing that you'll notice about this storage container is a painting on the side. And this was painted by a youth group from Moloka'i's Youth Center, led by our very own Shaye Lauifi. And this was painted as part of a project in association with the Blue Planet Foundation. The project is called the Blue Line Project, and it aims to show the level of seawater rise predicted in the next couple of decades. Each line that you see here is representative of 2 feet, and by 2100, the water is expected to be above that highest line right there. And so a lot of the pictures and the work that you see being done, a lot of that land will be underwater if there isn't drastic changes that are made. And the purpose of this is to bring attention to climate change, but also to understand why it is that KHM does the work that it does. And there's really high stakes. There's a lot to be lost. In particular, if action isn't taken, then there's going to be a catastrophic loss of life, land, and culture. Coming up next, I'm going to have the pleasure to introduce Tiani Cook, the Executive Director, and I'll turn the time over to her.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Tiani Kawa'auhau-Cook, born and raised on Moloka'i. I started in my teenage years as a pawn office intern and executive assistant from 2010 to 2014. I came back to KHM in 2018 to be around friends and family during a hardship I faced after the loss of my husband, Hanalei, cooked to suicide. Now in my early 30s and middle of 2021, I became the executive director for Ka Honua Momona. I call this place my healing place where I can heal myself and heal this ʻāina at the same time. Our numbers from last year. Last year, our focus was to reconnect with different organizations on Moloka'i. And in 2022, KHM had 1,594 volunteers that came out and kōkua at ali'i and Moloka'i loko'i'a. 76% of volunteers last year were Native Hawaiians, making it a total of 5,444 volunteer hours. We also planted over 1,500. This includes 653 of them were native plants that were planted at ali'i, ʻāina pulapula, nani kaula, and Moloka'i farm. We removed mangrove gorilla ogo, 21 barrels of invasive weeds at Mokio, and some outreach and programs KHM got to connect and host with, is just to name a few. Moloka'i Middle School and High School, the Land Trust, Moloka'i Farm, Ealupu, Maui Nui Makai Network, Hawaii Community Foundation, Volunteer Appreciation Day, and Culture Dinner. Some of our highlights of 2022 will be our first one, our third makaha. The beginning of summer 2022, we were able to make Uncle Mac's vision come alive. In 1 month, we were able to build our third makaha at ali'i Fish Pond. You can see the before, during, and after photos of our hard work and dedication our interns, volunteers, and staff put in. Here are the measurements of our newest addition to KHM ʻOhana. The width of our makaha is 7 feet height, and 7 feet. Height is 3.42 feet, and the length is 15.25 feet. We also restored length facing Mauka 19.5 feet, and restored length facing Makai of 81.42 feet. A total of area was 1,017.02 square feet. Our purpose in building the third makaha is to enhance our new habitat for fishes, create more oxygen, and have a natural flow to our local i'a. It also gives us a better advantage to monitor all the activities happening inside and outside the pond. Because in the past, everything were hidden beneath the mangrove and mud. There is so much to learn from this ʻāina and kai that one day we will have answers to share with the next generations and other local i'a of the outcomes we found. Mangrove. We also removed 10,000 square feet of mangrove in both of our local ia'as. In this picture, we are clearing a mangrove pathway between the third makaha and ali'i Fish Pond. Keikis enjoy the pull and snap methods. And we also are open-minded with the pros and cons to mangrove. Some pros. Two mangroves are that they hold the rock wall together and also stop the land erosion in the wetland areas. So mangroves cover approximately 70%, almost 19 miles of the coastline edging Moloka'i reef. Much of this is very dense. Mangroves are not native to Hawaii, and their introduction has created lots of problems. They do indeed trap sediments in their roots, which provides new seedlings, allowing mangroves to cover more and more of reef flat. Mangroves are able to grow in different areas, including freshwater. As a result, they are completely covered over many important freshwater springs along Moloka'i South Shore lines. In the 15th and 16th centuries, at least 75 ancient stone wall fish ponds were built around these springs. Climate change affects our way of thinking when it comes to our conservation projects. At the end of our summer 2022, we started digging the trench where we clear the pathway of mangrove. We are still working on completing the last steps so our makaha can meet ali'i. By adding a trench, this would help the circulation of the pond. Our trench measures at 3 feet deep, 3 feet wide, and 25 feet long. We have about 10 to 20 feet left of digging. Did I mention we are doing this all by hand? No heavy equipment, just shovels and awesome volunteers and kupunas. Just to think about it, we dug 3 feet of mud down and we still didn't hit solid ground. So just imagine all that mud being washed down from Mauka into our local i'a and kai. Here is our removal of gorilla ogo. You can see all the determination in everyone's faces here. In the first photo, you can see our executive assistant, Shaye, tired and exhausted, but still willing to haul her 400 pounds of gorilla ogo. In our second photo, you can see two generations of Keiki and Opio working together to get all the bags in. On this day, we removed over 28 bags, which is 2,800 pounds of invasive algae. Each bag filled to the top weighs 100 pounds of invasive limu. Last year, we removed over 8 tons or 16,000 pounds of gorilla ogo. Our Inkeikis enjoy removing mangrove seeds and removing gorilla ogo from the ponds because they get to play in the mud.
So we have many plants on site at our Makakupaia ʻāina, which abuts ali'i lokoia. Because our mission focuses on Malka and Makai, we try to practice sustainability through agriculture by planting native Hawaiian plants and mea'ai or food plants. Right now we have 15 native Hawaiian plants on site. These include mai'a, kukui, ulu, oheli'i, tili, wili, and pakalana, just to name a few. One of my favorites is our kalo, which you can see on the top. Yeah, where Uncle Bobby is, and all the way up to, they were planted over the summer by our 2022 interns and staff, including Kahikulani and Austin. And also with some like other Princeton interns, Kupu interns, and 2 France interns coming from all the way across the world. My good friend Ka Honua, also known as Poi Boy, was generous enough to donate 5 different varieties of puli or kalo starters. And the big 5 are lehua, ula poni, ele naiawea, mana ulu, and mana piko. And they are now standing at about 4 feet tall. And these were planted in October, I believe, yeah? Yeah, so as Kahikulani mentioned before, Moloka'i is capable of feeding tens of thousands, and it's part of our goal to live sustainability and have fresh produce available for our community and Kupuna cookouts. And so we started growing other edible foods like lemon, lettuce, strawberries, which Ani actually got to eat today. White pineapples that was given to us by Uncle Bobby. Also pumpkin from Uncle Matt. Papaya, green onions, and chili pepper. So we are still continuing to grow all of these so that we can help out everyone inside the ahupuaʻa and Moloka'i.
Land donation. In January of 2022, we were blessed to receive a 2.98 acres of land located on the east side of Moloka'i. Our goal is to clear out our space and start an aquaponic tower system to start our veggies and to feed our community and start a native nursery in the hopes we can start planting up mauka. Our setback, nothing is easy and everyone experiences setback. Our main setback was at the end of last year. Here's a short clip of our river running right through Ali'i Fish Pond. All our hard work of keeping our local i'a clean were washed away, and with a 2-person staff, we were overwhelmed by how much damage this river caused. We set up the kahea in our community, and we were blessed with many, many hands that came out and helped us clear our driveway. It took us 2 long hours of shoveling mud with 12 volunteers, youngest volunteer at 5 years old, and the oldest volunteer at 85 years old, to clear a pathway so our cars and driveway could get in. We appreciate every single person that came out that day or still continues to come to today to help us clean all the debris.
Yeah, and Uncle Mac was sick that day and he still came down to help us out. So we are so spoiled. We do have a lot of future goals that is generated in our po'o's brain. But first we want to finish our 3rd makaha at Ali'i. We plan on making or hosting a haku upena with Uncle Mac, so learning how to sew your own Hawaiian throw net. Clear the ʻāina at Moloka'i so we can start our aquaponic systems for mea'ai. At Ali'i, we want to create a space for a mahua ola papa or health and wellness class so that we can practice aipono and also healthy learning. We want to hire staff because it's just us two and our volunteers, but it would be nice to have more. Rebuild our hale at Ali'i because it has been standing for over 10 years, I believe. And right now she's slowly going down. So we plan on rebuilding it with Uncle Francis and also a small hale at Kalopo'eli. We want to open up our punawai, our spring at Ali'i pond, so that our volunteers can enjoy the coolness after we work so hard outside. We want to share more olelo about Moloka'i, especially about our areas that we caretake, and gain more pilina or connections with our organizations across Moloka'i and Hawaii, and even outside of Hawaii. We're writing grants right now to get more equipment for ʻāina work, and our end goal, of course, is to open up our lopoi'a for our community to come and share in the bounty and practice pono lawai'a, and just be with our culture, learning through the practicing of caretaking ali'i and kolopo'eli. So that is it. We want to mahalo everyone for coming out, and this is our contact information if you need to contact us for any reason. PayPal if you know anyone who wants to donate, so we can hire interns. And yeah, mahalo nui ia ʻōko, and I guess this is the time for opening of questions and answers. Yeah. Go ahead, Tate.
Take it away.
Oh, mahalo, you guys. That was so awesome. We'll definitely make sure to post this so we can get people connected. But yeah, mahalo. We will open it up for just a quick discussion or any questions if anyone would like to answer or ask. But yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question about the third makaha. The trench that you are describing is connecting the makaha to the main pond itself.
Yes. So there's like a big, what do you call it? Mud that's in the middle of our third makaha and ali'i fish pond. So doing that trench so that water can come right through it. So the third makaha can meet ali'i fish pond. And I know Uncle Mac probably want to add more to it too, because that's giving me the look.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the intent, to get the flow going from the ocean, from the east, going west, right through the mangrove and the silt, and into the pond, and out to the other makaha, west side makaha. So that's the intent. And then the purpose is to kind of generate more oxygen, provide more oxygen to the pond, and clear the area. If you guys can look at the picture, right where we built that makaha, there's like one big pool on the inside, and that was caused just from the current. The current kept that place open, but it was all overgrown and rocks all over. So we cleared all that up, and that's like one habitat for all the baby fishes. So a lot of the fishes that is in that area, not necessarily going to stay in the pond, but that is what can go back out into the open ocean. So yeah, that served one big purpose on that side. Thanks, all.
Okay.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. Maikai, awesome. It's great to see these images of the work you folks have been doing there at Ka Honua Momona. Maikai, yeah.
Yeah, so Uncle Saul, if you look here on this slide we have up, before we opened this up, there was an estuary already started here. So all these Oahu was below sea level, so the water was already coming through, and it created a little kind of nursing area that Uncle Mac found and noticed that there was life. So that's what made his vision come out to open up a makaha and then connect it up here into our actual pond itself.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
All there is a lot of sediment.
yeah. So you actually have makaha, the gate up at that location right now?
No, no more gate. We're gonna leave them open for now because
You wanted
let
to
the
flush
thing
out?
be free flowing.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of rubbish collect too, yeah. So if you put one gate, you might clog up the place and then you're going to bust them all out. So just like, so I'm saying that because the reason why I get that puka inside of the wall is because the current, the bulk of the current is impacting that area. Yeah. So I was thinking about letting the thing just free flow, yeah, rather than put one gate and might get clogged up. I mean, it's going to get clogged up, guaranteed.
Moloka'i.
I had another question too, and maybe for our Ka Honua Momona's previous interns, not from Hawaii, but what was your guys's maybe favorite memory or just something that you guys learned from being in Hawaii and working with ʻAina and Kanaka Hawaii and Austin? I know you're native Hawaiian, so being back home.
I guess I can start. I think for me it was I think probably learning about the stories. One of the activities that we had the privilege of doing was upkeep of a kukui nut grove on the east end of the island called Lanikaula, and we had at the end of the work we had a picnic up there, and we had stories told by Uncle Bobby, actually learning the significance behind the land and the history of it. And I think that was for me probably one of the more special experiences, because you kind of get a sense for the work and the lives that had been lived on the soil. It's not it's wild. You go out there and there's not many people. There's the mountains and there's the wildlife and certainly all the flora, but from that stance you get kind of a feeling that it's a storied area, that it's hallowed ground, and you have the ability and the privilege of working and helping to hopefully preserve it so that someone else in the future can have that experience.
Okay.
Yeah, I love how Austin used the word privilege, because that's really, I think, what I felt. So I'm from Texas as well, and I'm Puerto Rican. And so on Puerto Rico, we have a lot of indigenous history as well, but it isn't taught because of colonialism, and a lot of it has been washed away. And so I think it was just a big privilege to be able to come to a land where you set foot on island and you feel the magic and the power under your feet, and how people live it every day, right? It is a living culture. It isn't something that is like a history in the past. It's a history, it's a present, and it's a future. And so I think my time at Ka Honua Momona was beautiful because it was so well connected with everything that had to do with sustainability, not only at the fish ponds, but also in the mountains, as well as the culture, making sure it's continuing to regenerate. So it was beautiful how it was so well connected, and I was very glad I had the privilege to be able to see it all.
Mahalo.
I think, I mean, it was a good reflection process, seeing some of the principles again. And one of my favorite principles of KHM is that intergenerational exchange and connection, because that's something that prior to coming to KHM and kind of just being in this space and on this ʻāina and on this island, I don't think I really understood. And there was so much connection and exchange across all different age groups, and especially kind of engaging with the Kupuna through the time was something I never really experienced, nor had I appreciated it. And I think the Hawaiian culture it perpetuates that a lot, and it's very kind of rooted in a lot of that exchange and storytelling, and I'll never forget that. And now I take that into my life, and try and connect across all generations, and kind of take a lot of time to reflect on where I came from and who my family is, and really asking some of those deep questions. And that was something that KHM gave me, and one of the kind of the most notable things that I think I learned and took away. So yeah.
Mahalo. Okay, before we wrap up, does anyone else have any questions or just want to make comments at all?
Yeah, I just have one more question. There was a slide there that is a part of your container showing sea level rise and the predicted levels over time. And since we're in critical climate change times, how do you see what Ka Honua Momona is doing will help to mitigate some of those anticipated kind of impacts? And this is to anyone, from Ka Honua Momona. Yeah.
I guess for me, it's the conservation practicing. It'll lessen our footprint, at least on this honua, to add to all of that toxicity in the earth. So that's one, but it'll take way more than that for the lahui of actual Mother Earth to make a huge difference. But we did talk about it, because after sea level rises, it's gonna cover our Moloka'i, and a lot of people ask us, so what are you gonna do? Are you gonna move your fish pond in? And we're like, no, because we don't want to move all that mana that went into it from all the people who moved it from backside. From backside of Moloka'i, which is Pelekuno. But as for facilities, we are thinking of lifting higher or moving to higher ground. Yeah, it's a lot to process. But yeah, do you have anything else to add to that? That's kind of what we're looking at, though. And right now we are in the 2 feet area, because when I came, before we did the Blue Line project, I think it was 2016 or 17, the water line was still kind of low. And now that I'm working here, it's in our Coconut Grove area, which is about 2 feet higher from the sea level. Yeah. So we already see the changes that's happening.
So
I add little bit to that subject. So I know earlier I was talking about clearing mangrove and stuff. So a lot of the work that I do now is down alongside the south side of the island, because I did plenty work on the north side. Now I moving around the island and looking at, like, climate change no affect our north side that much, because we get poly here, but it affects the south side. So I've been trying to educate people about the mangrove and try not to look at it as our enemy like it was in the past.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of good stuff that mangrove does. And one of them is keeping the soil intact. So as I do my work along the South Shore, I look back inland and I can see all the different places that are getting eroded. The only places that are not getting eroded is where I get mangrove. So I'm not saying save all of mangrove, but if it's not necessary, leave it alone, because it not only helps to retain all of the mud, but it also provides shade for the fish, keeps the water a little bit cool, because that's another thing about climate change. We're getting heated ocean. The ocean getting more warm, and a lot of the fish they're not more. So that's the kind of work that I'm doing, trying to look at the resources, how they're being affected, by climate change. And I see some big changes. I see some subtle changes, but I see the changes because I'm out there. And it's really interesting to have a good measure, and mangrove can help me out plenty in a lot of the questions I had about sea level rise. Right down the road from the pond. Right down the road getting eroded. The high tide coming over the road, like not sure wow, So we gotta really be a kamai about how we're gonna approach this, not just clear cut all this vegetation that helping us, helping the fish, helping everything.
And,
That's all I get.
I just wanted to add, Uncle Mac, is that some of the observations that you're making and some of the decisions to be adaptive, to figure out how to look at what works in climate change times is an important message that I think Ka Honua Momona can make to the global community, meaning globally people are going through these kinds of experiences, no different than Ka Honua Momona, but the ideas that you're coming about with, the innovations that you're presenting are part of the solution, and that others might learn from that as well. So I want to encourage Ka Honua Momona to share some of those things, not just within your community because it's important, but also know that there's a global community that could be helped as well from these changing times. So mahalo for all the work you folks are doing there. I appreciate that.
Mahalo, Uncle Saul. Yes, I kako everything that was said. Well, we will wrap up for this evening, and I just want to let you folks know for our next speaker series episode, it's going to be March 16th. We're going to be hosting Chumash tribe members who are going to be sharing about their work with their tribe and their hui. So make sure to look at our social media and definitely register for next time. So with that, I will say ahui ho and he pomalie.
Ahui ho.
Yo.
Kamaluhia